Welcome back to part 2 of the video on the issue of climate change. This video will be discussing the global response to climate change and whether these responses are enough. It will then go on to look at what are some better approaches governments could be using to help deal with climate change more effectively. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Many countries around the world have agreed that they will be net zero by the year 2050. This means that they will reduce as much greenhouse gas emissions as they possibly can, and will balance out the remaining emissions in the atmosphere by absorbing the equivalent amount. Experts have agreed that this target is achievable, but the actions need to be taken now by government, institutions and individuals. Many countries have signed the Paris Agreement, which is an agreement to help tackle climate change collectively. One of the things in the agreement that all the countries who have signed the agreement have pledged to is to keep the global warming temperature to 1.5 C. Egypt will be hosting the COP27, which will be a place for world leaders to come together and develop more ambitious plans, ideas to help reduce emissions, including reducing the use of fossil fuels. The problem with the current government response and actions to climate change is that it is argued it is not enough. This is because it is believed if government around the world want to keep the global warming temperature to 1.5 C, then the policies that they are implementing are argued to be not enough. So what should governments be doing? Past pandemics and epidemics such as AIDS or COVID had quick governmental responses. Here governments responded by having both public behavioral interventions and critical structural changes. It is argued that we can learn from these past experiences and crisis and apply this to help deal with climate change. Firstly, it is important to engage the public. It is believed that whenever a crisis takes place, public information has been used. For example, in the COVID-19 pandemic, public information helped inform the public about COVID-19 and helped change their behavior in order to deal with the crisis more effectively. By doing this, it would mean the public voluntarily took caution and action, which helped prevent more restrictions being placed on them. However, when it comes to the climate change crisis, public engagement has not been the same. There is lack of public information to help encourage societal change. Instead, rich countries tend to rely on innovation and advanced technological developments to help deal with climate change, rather than encouraging individuals to take ownership and take action themselves. As well as this, when any initiatives to drive public change on climate change do happen, they tend to only focus on light, easy solutions such as recycling, rather than dealing with more meaningful, impactful solutions such as reducing meat and dairy consumption or air travel. Furthermore, net zero pledges and recycling campaign by the governments give the public the impression that everything is under control, when in reality this is not the case. Overall, due to the lack of public engagement, achieving the set climate goals by governments is currently not achievable unless if widespread behavior change is made. Next, it is important to reduce demand and consumption. This means that in order to help tackle climate change more effectively, people need to use and consume less. In order for this to happen, again, strong behavioral change is needed. This can be seen in COVID-19, where due to the lockdowns, one of the short-term side effects was that a lot of people stopped using air travel, food waste was reduced, as well as this, less people traveled by car, etc. However, it is argued that this idea of rationing emissions and trying to reduce how much resources people use to help deal with the climate change issue is not new, but very difficult, especially for rich countries. Lastly, another way to deal with climate change and help achieve the climate goals set by many countries is by reforming global financial institutions. This is because it is argued current global economic structures support and promote ongoing environmental degradation, which helps increase climate change. Hence, why these global financial institutions need reforming. Since 2008, there have been many voices raised calling for a new Bretton Woods to be established, as this would mean a new reformed economic system would be created which would align with the climate action goals. For more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe.